What is up, everyone? I'm back again, and this once again with the Euro video. This time it's the round of 16, and well, first off, I want to say sorry if I'm a little bit and like if I'm a little and cough and stuff like that. I'm having a little cold at the moment, a summer cold. That's always annoying, and also allergies are affecting me as well. So it's a little bit of up and down like there. But anyways, I still want to do this video a bit late. I'm sorry for that, but I had a test yesterday, so I couldn't make. Okay, and also I had to prepare for that test the days before that, so I couldn't really get to it earlier than now. But anyways, let's just get into this. These were There was a lot of crazy stuff that happened in the round of 16. A lot of surprises and personal for me there was some surprises, some pleasant ones definitely, and also some that were not so pleasant. But still, we'll get to that as we go through these. But first off, we had Italy versus Austria in the first one, and well, what can you say about that? This was this was very crazy. This was just interesting because Italy so far had been by far really one of the strongest, if not the strongest, of the teams in this competition. But Austria gave him a pretty good game. They gave him a pretty good match there. They came close. They even scored a goal as well. But you know, it was a little bit shaky for the Italians. They took them to extra time, I believe. So the Austrians were really getting at them. This was their toughest one so far, definitely for the Italians. But in the end, Italy finally got their got their things together, and yeah, well, got themselves together and scored another. And they went through to the quarterfinals, deservingly. But well props to Austria. They did a good job. They definitely did a good job. They gave it their all 100%. Alaba was good, and you know, and a few others there that were really working really strongly in that team. But hey, it's Italy, they have been undefeated for so long under Mancini. It's crazy how good they have been. So there's no shame in that, in losing to Italy, really. Then, after that, the day after, we had Wales versus Denmark. This was a massive blowout. This was a trashing of Wales. Denmark trashed Wales pretty much 4-0. This was, in my opinion, kind of surprising, and also not. It was surprising because Wales have still been pretty decent in the group stage. They did that okay job, They only lost like 1-0 to Italy. They also won against Turkey decently. 1-1 against Switzerland, but it wasn't the best. But they still looked like they could do something at least. They still made it out in second place in that group. But maybe that's why it wasn't all that good. Maybe that was the thing, though. It was more lucky because of the other results, in a way, that they made it through. But not trying to bring them down, because they are a good team. But as we see, when we see here, Denmark, nobody thought that Denmark would even make it this far after the first game they had in the group stage. But this game, they were absolutely dominant, doing everything they could. Like Dolberg got 2, scored 2. Martin Braithwaite got 1, and I think one of the goals, it was an own goal. Maybe I don't remember what the fourth one was. Not the fourth in the game, but like the fourth one overall. I don't remember exactly who scored it, but anyways, they did a really good job, Denmark, and deservingly so went through to the quarterfinals. They looked very dominant, and as I'll get to in the next video, they will keep they will keep doing that. They will keep being very good going forward. And then That same day, we got to Belgium versus Portugal. This one, it was close. It was close. In Portugal, they had their chances, but they didn't look as into it or as strong as Belgium were in that instance. They had their good chances, of course, but some of their players, Ronaldo didn't do much. He wasn't really visible in that sense. They kind of kept him off throughout throughout the whole game. He had some chances, but it wasn't anything major. Uh, on the other hand, as well, Lukaku on the other hand also did was kind of kept off as well by Portugal. He didn't get in so much. The goal scorer in this game, because Belgium won 1-0, it was Hazard, but not Eden Hazard, but his brother Torgan Hazard, which is kind of ironic and kind of funny because he's always been in the shadow with his brother, mostly in the national team. It's always been about Eden, not him. So that he gets to score this goal was very interesting. That he gets to score a goal here, and he gets to score that goal, and also when we get to that, I don't know if did it happen this game or was it? Yeah, it was. Later in that game, Eden Hazard get injured. So yeah, that's like how does that even work really? How things can happen like that. That's just crazy. It's really weird how that happens. But yeah. But anyways, Belgium did deserve it in the end, even though it looked a little bit shaky. They were a bit thrown off there. This was the first time they felt it a little bit. And as you will see when we get to the next round, there was things to be worried about, and that was a sign of bad things to come for Belgium. But we'll get to that in the next video. Then we have the first really, those are at least we can kind of understand those first games. You can see either Belgium, Portugal, you can see what either one can really win that. Denmark winning Wales, a bit surprising, but you can still see it. Denmark is a good team. They had a lot of spirit. And Italy winning Austria, you get that. But this is where the first big surprise came in. Czech Republic beating the Netherlands. That was absolutely crazy. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected Czech Republic to really beat them. Okay, yes, they're expecting them to maybe put up a good fight, put up a good game. You know, they're not a bad team. They have some good players. You know, one of their players is up in the goal score, like in the top goal scorers. You know, what is his name? What's George? No, what is his name? I cannot remember his name, but he's up there as well. He's right now after this game today. Which they're gonna eliminate, but I'll get to that next time. He's right now on equal goal scoring with Cristiano Ronaldo, and if you take away the two penalty goals that Ronaldo scored as well, he will be sole goal leader and just open goals. So this he was they have good players, but but nobody really saw this coming. Netherlands just didn't look like they were in it at all. They had many good chances, but they missed. They missed a lot of chances. Ronaldo was not barely even seen in the game. He couldn't get through with his passes or with his tactics like he usually has been doing. They probably had some decent. Well, the Memphis had some decent chances, but just couldn't put them in. Even Frankie de Jong had an off game as well. Not terrible, but like no player really did work in that. It wasn't really anything really didn't work. The whole team in general was just feeling off, and that maybe has had a lot to do with the coach as well, Frank de Boer, because he just couldn't get the tactics right this time, and that's why shortly after, a couple of days after, he was sacked. He has been sacked now. We don't know that. We don't know which one who will take over, but there's some rumors about Juan Van Gaal and stuff, but that would be just terrible. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. But he has not been good with this team. He's definitely hasn't really lived up to the promises that people told about him, like that he could be he has not been a good successor to Coleman at all, really. He has not brought this Netherlands team up much at all more than any way that Coleman did. Just didn't work at all for him this time, and you can maybe say that's, but like, he just can make it work, and that's kind of been the thing for him throughout this whole managerial career. A lot of people have been critical about him with all the teams he's been the coaching. He's not had the most best of managerial careers in any of the teams he's been in, so it's been a little up and down with the board. So you know, I always expected it to go kind of this way, but not against Czech Republic, not in this kind of fashion, because at least in the group stage they did do decently enough, but they won all their games. But you can kind of see how off really that group stage really was, and how that group C really wasn't the strongest, if you can say that. Um, Even though later on Group F, everybody else is getting, but we'll get to that. Um, this was just a little bit of a strange thing for Netherlands, and once again, they see themselves out, and that is really tough. Because they missed the last, I think it was the last World Cup they missed, and I don't know if they missed the last Euros as well. I can't really remember, but they definitely missed the last World Cup, I think. But either way, they have not had a good stint for the last few years, so it's just not really doing it for the Netherlands right now. Even though they have some really talented players, but they need a better coach who can really get the tactics right, and hopefully they can get that eventually. But then we get to the author again for Croatia and Spain. This one was a bit of a shaky one. This one, Spain got a bit of a scare here. They went up definitely in a good fashion. They did went up in a few goals. I think they were leading 3-1. I think towards the end, like in the first towards the end of the game, but then Croatia came back. First off, Spain played pretty decently the whole game. I think they scored a goals, but then I don't know if the first two goals were. I can't remember who scored, but anyways, but towards the end, Croatia came back and made it 3-3 and took it to extra time, which was absolutely crazy for. Nobody expected that to happen. That was a big shakeup for Spain, so they really needed to pick themselves back together, which they did. Because in extra time they were all over Croatia again. They picked themselves back. Props to Spain. They picked themselves back up and got through. Morata scoring the fourth, I believe, and who scored the fifth? I can't remember who really scored the fifth right now, but they got in. They scored two more goals. They won 5-3 on extra time, comfortably there. But it was a bit of a scare for them. It was a little bit of a shaky thing there, because Spain's defense has not been the absolute greatest and how they play sometimes, and that's gonna come back as well in the quarterfinals as well, which I'll talk about next time. But this one was a little bit shaky, but deservingly Spain go through to the quarterfinals and Croatia gets eliminated. Um, that was a little bit small surprise there, but then we came to this one. This one, nobody expected this to happen. This is even a bigger shock, even bigger than the Netherlands getting eliminated. France versus Switzerland. Who would have thought that Switzerland would have knocked out France? I never thought that. I definitely didn't think that. I thought France will maybe at least get to the semifinal. But look where we are now. They got eliminated in round 16. And it ended 3-3. The game just almost similarly to the one with Spain, you know? But this time, France couldn't pick themselves back up like Spain did. France did not pick themselves. Instead, Switzerland looked at what Croatia did and did the opposite. They didn't let themselves go lose as Croatia did. Croatia went too much ahead in the in the extra time and tried to go too much for attack and let them open themselves up in the back. Switzerland did not do that. Switzerland played this off really strongly, and throughout the extra 30 minutes, they held France to that 3-3 draw um, until we went to penalties. Until they got to penalties. This was the first one that was gonna be decided on penalties here. The first of the games that was decided on penalties, and this one, I don't know. It's something else. 100%. It was a big prop to Switzerland. Jan Sommer in the goal, and all the people who took the penalties. They all were secure very much. Which the opposite happens later, but we'll get to that next time. But they were all secure with how they took their penalties. They all did it the right way. And France, they also looked like they could do something. Oh, but okay, France will still win. They doing good, but in the end, France will do it. Like they have Joris in goal, they have these big stars and all that stuff. But then, it comes down to the last penalty. It's Kylian Mbappe taking it, and he misses. I don't know if it was Sommer saving or he hits the post or something like that, but he missed. And everybody went nuts all over social media, everywhere. Just this was nobody expected someone like him to really miss that final penalty. That was down to him, and he became the big scapegoat. Like he became the one who just pretty much knocked. He made sure that the France were knocked out because of that mistake, and just it was absolutely crazy. And he went from being the favorite for a Ballon d'Or to just going all the way down, And with that one miss, just you see how much the momentum can swing here. I said this in my last video. The momentum can really always swing in these tournaments just like that for any teams. And I love this when the smaller teams get the upper hand and when the smaller teams go through. That's way more exciting when you just see the bigger teams just run through everybody and get to the final, whatever. That's it's cool, we see the big stars and stuff, but it's always exciting when these smaller nations can do things like this. That's what really makes these tournaments very exciting because anything can happen. Things like this can always happen. It's very different from the group stages. It's very different from the qualification and all that stuff. It's so much different than that. The mentality is always different. Even the biggest players, their mentality can go like this. They can always crack. They can always just uh, go off to the side and just go totally wrong. And that's why this is so exciting always, because anything can really happen. So France are knocked out. Switzerland are moving through to the quarterfinals. Absolutely crazy scenes, and props to Switzerland for that. And then, yeah, Sweden versus Ukraine. This one hurt. This one was throughout the game. Sweden were the better team. We were the better team. We had our chances. They scored first. Yes, they scored first. Yes, but after that, Forsberg got a good goal in, and after that, he had two more chances that were one in the post and one in the crossbar. and we had a lot of other chances as well. Yes, Ukraine had their own as well, but Sweden had even more chances that we could have just ended this game in normal time. But it just wasn't it. It wasn't meant to be. It went to extra time. The Ukrainian players were looking all tired, but still, luck was not on Sweden's side this time. Sweden gets a red card. I don't remember which minute it is, but it was in the extra time when Danielsson, I think his name was, I think that he gets a bad tackle on one of the Ukrainian players. I don't think he's meaning to tackle. I think he was going for the ball with his foot. But the Ukrainian player just goes into his foot, just bam against his knee. just like that, and it's just, yeah. What can you do? That's what happens. It's just like, boom, right in his knee with his foot, with the sole of his shoe, just bam. And that's, of course, just a red card. And if he hadn't gone on like that, I'm pretty sure it wasn't going to be a red card. But yeah, you can discuss that up and down how the refs have been doing this tournament. Maybe another video, but that changed the whole game pretty much. Really, in a way, the mentality for Sweden what just went down, and we were not ourselves anymore. Then the worst happened. The worst thing I can think of when supporting any team. In the last minute, last seconds, Ukraine scored a winning goal, and they knock out Sweden of the Euros, which was, it just hurt. It was just so dumb and unfair. It just felt so wrong in a way for me personally, but also in a way, like, true. Just everything just went south. Everything just went against Sweden in this game, really. So it's just, that's how football can be. As I said, the momentum can always shift. It can always shift. So Sweden are out. Ukraine go through in just that little small second. Sweden lost the concentration and they conceded that goal, and that's how it is. um, it sucks but that's how football is. And also, well, but still, props to Ukraine. They gave it their own until the end, even though they were tired. They managed to do that, and they were the underdogs in this one. They were not. Sweden were the favorites, and I think we were seeing too much of favorites, and that really went against us, really, in a way. So, but yeah, that's how it can be. I feel bad for Forsberg, especially because he's been really brilliant in this tournament, with all the goals he's been scoring. 4 goals to him in this one, and also Isaac as well has been great. He didn't get scoring goals, but he was also really good up front and so on. So, and Olsen too, the goalkeeper, all great players, and I'm sure a lot of clubs will be looking for them this summer and also the next. So, but that's just how it is. That's football for you. And finally, we round up our eliminations of Group F with England versus Germany. Just imagine this. After so many times in history when Germany has gotten the upper hand, the last time I think it was, what was it? In the early 90s, I think, or maybe 96? The Euro 96 or something like that, maybe 2004, I don't know. But it was some Euro back when their current coach right now, I forgot his name now. I don't know. I had his name in the last video. But anyway, but England's current coach, he was there. He